Mindmogul. Hello and welcome to the Mindmogul Show. 7 minutes of motivation for the mind, body, and soul. This podcast is meant to motivate you to accomplish all of your daily and life goals. Scripture for today comes from Mark chapter 3, verses 32. And the multitude sat about him, and they said unto him, Behold, thy mother and thy brethren without seek for thee. And he answered them, saying, Who is my mother or my brethren? And he looked around about on them which sat about him, and said, Behold, my mother and my brethren. For whoever shall do the will of God, the same is my brother and my sister and my mother. Mindmogul. Today's subject is racism. I believe in that scripture at that time, Jesus addressed racism. If you notice, the crowd identified his mother and his brother physically. They pointed them out. They said, Jesus, look, your mother and brother. And in my mind, I think, how do you do that? How do you identify them unless there's some specific identifier? And so what Jesus did to end that identification from a physical standpoint was he said, no, my mother and my brother or my sister is anyone who does my will. And I think in that instance, in that body, Jesus himself being a man of color, in that instance, I think he dealt with the fact that let's not think about any physical identifiers. Anyone who does my will is my mother, my sister, or my brother. Mindmogul. Mindmogul. Today's Sunday, July 26, 2020. We put to rest Congressman John Lewis, befitting the day of the podcast about racism. John Lewis was a very, very strong man, a hero in my book. Someone that you can commit your life to something for more than a decade. You at that point, you were reaching a hero status with me, but John Lewis did it for a lifetime. So he set the bar. He set the bar in which we are to follow. And I think at this point, it's not about complexity. It's not about color. It's about forward thinking. It's about the future. To deal with racism and to deal with the problems of America, we have to address them. That part I think is simple. And I think a lot of people talk over it and don't address it. And in addressing it, addresses both sides, and get to the common denominator. Slavery happened in this land for hundreds of years. Commercial empires were built. Cotton was one of the number one export from the South, all on the backs of slavery. Tobacco. There's a lot of money that was made. How do you enslave a people for so many years and then on the exit plan or on the policy to now emancipate these people? It's filled with so many booby traps, and it's followed up with lynching and Jim Crow. If there was ever a bridge between people in America, whether white or black, and that bridge was damaged with slavery, the bridge was set on fire. It burned down. How, if you burn a bridge down, do you turn and now cross it? You don't. The only way you cross a burned down bridge is you have to repair it. You have to repair it. To repair the bridge, you have to make reparations. You have to make reparations to repair the bridge. If you are not interested in repairing the bridge, that means you're not interested in reparations. That's the only way to cross it after you've burned it down, is to build it back. And to build it back, yes, it's going to be expensive. To build it back, yes, it's going to heal some wounds. But you have to understand the black man is expensive. Our lives were expensive. You may have thought it was expendable. So now let's take the time, repair the bridge the gap, love on each other, be benevolent, think abundance. Hashtag Mindmogul.
5 in that category, they each have one today. Third down at 21 now. Arizona's back and loads. It's got a man open and hit. Nice throw. And a first down to Ron Holmes at the 26-yard line. Iowa dropped into the zone. Thought they had everybody in front of them that time, but Tom Knight was the corner to that side. Sherry Cooks the safety. That put the ball exactly where you have to throw the ball to the outside of that split too deep zone. Just high enough so that corner can't get it, and not too high so the safety can. You gotta love it when it's 3rd and 21 and you get 23 yards. Well, you love it if you're a Wildcat fan. If you're a defensive coordinator, that is going to be driving you crazy.
This podcast is brought to you by eidolmusic.com, offering distribution of audio and video globally. Got talent? Sign yourself at eidolmusic.com. Also brought to you in part by birthdaycapital.com, crowdfunding for your birthdays. Be benevolent, think abundance with birthdaycapital.com.
I think that was 5 touchdown holes right there. Heck of it. Somebody led, somebody out. It was looking too quick for me this year.
I know God, motivation for your mind, body, and soul. That much. I know God, round homes motivate your mind, body, and soul. I know God, motivation for your mind, body.